Good afternoon, class. My name is Joshua Koinange from Kagumo High School, and I would like to introduce to you the human skeleton. The human skeleton is divided into two parts: the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton is made up of the skull, the ribs and the sternum, and the vertebral column. Then we have the appendicular skeleton, which is composed of the pectoral girdle and the pelvic girdles. The pectoral girdles is made up of the scapula, the clavicle bone or the collarbone, and the limbs, the arms that is, which is made up of the humerus, which is the bone of the upper arm. Then there is the radius and the ulna. The radius is on the side of the thumb, that is here. Then there is the ulna, which is on the lower side of the arm. Then on the other side of the pelvic girdle, we have the bones of the pelvic girdle, which are these two. Then there is the limbs. There is the femur, the tibia and the fibula, the tarsal, metacarpals and the phalanges of the feet. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Benjamin Mwangi and I'm from 4Y Kagumo High School, and I will be presenting the skull. Be my guest. Well, we'll start off with the skull. The skull, first and foremost, is made up of fused bones. These fused bones, for instance, the ones we have here, they are fused together, and I will show the skull of the goat, I guess. They are fused together to form the cranium. This cranium has two functions. One, it encloses and protects the brain. Function number two, that it encloses the ear and protects the inner ears, the eyes, and the olfactory organs. The cranium is made up of two jaws, the upper jaw, and two, we have the lower jaws. This cranium and these lower jaws articulate at a point. They articulate at a movable joint. This movable joint is the one which enables us to move our lower jaws. The cranium has two sides. We have the anterior side of the cranium and we have the posterior side of the cranium. The posterior side or the back side of the cranium has some facets. Facets are points of articulations that connect with the next vertebrae. I want to show them that they are found just behind at the posterior side of the cranium. The two facets are referred to as occipital condyles. They articulate with the atlas vertebrae, and so that they can bring a complete connection right from the skull proceeding downwards. Another part between the occipital condyles is known as the foramen magnum, that it allows the spinal cord to pass through as it moves towards the vertebral column. It's true. Thank you. This is the foramen magnum.
Hi everyone, my name is Wayne from 4Y Kagumo High School, and I'm presenting the ribcage. Now, the ribcage encloses the thoracic region and protects the vital organs such as the heart and the lungs. It's made up of the ribs, the sternum, and they are connected to the vertebral column at the back. The ribs articulate with the sternum at the front. They articulate with the vertebra in the vertebral column at the back. In animals like birds, the sternum is light, forming a keel, which has the flight muscles attached to it that enable the bird to fly. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Here is Lorenzo, ready to present you the atlas. As you can see, this is the atlas. which articulates with the skeleton, and my friends Quizzy and Wajimichi will help me do.
As you have heard, I'm Quizzy. He is Jimichi, and we are also deskmates. We have the transverse processes. As you can see, here we have the neural canal. Now, I'll let my colleague, Jimichi, name the other parts and even give us their functions. Thank you.
My name is Vijimichi, and the neural canal where the spinal cord passes through, and we also have the transverse processes. The function is to attach with the muscles, and as you can see, we have the broad, wide articular facets. This is where it articulates with the skull to allow nodding of the head, and we also have the vertebral canal where the blood vessels pass through. So it is the first vertebra of the vertebral column, and it articulates with the skull, like you can see, to allow nodding of the head. That's why you can nod. And
That's what we had. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Ndegu David for Kagumo High School. And what do I have here? That is a single, a movement that has a technical advantage to it with what I have. And it's the second vertebrae of the vertebral column. After the atlas, this is a lateral view of it. As you can see, the main features, the prominent features are the odontic process. There is the vertebraterial canals. We go to the other side, lateral view also. This is the posterior view, the anterior view. This is the dorsal view and the ventral view. Yeah. And I think from the anterior view, you're able to observe that we have this surface. It's very prominent. It provides a surface for articulation with the previous bone that we have been introduced to, the atlas, on which the odontoid process slides into the atlas perfectly, surprisingly, and it provides passage for the neural spine. And we can see we have the vertebraterial canals. I believe I never told you the functions. It provides passage for the blood vessels. We have the transverse processes. They are reduced to provide surface for articulation of the muscles, the neck muscles, that aid in the turning. And we have the neural spine. It is short, broad, to provide surface for articulation of the neck muscles. And we also have this huge hole. Yeah, it's a neural canal. The sides provide, the sides are the neural arcs. They provide protection for the spinal cord. And from the posterior view, you can observe that there are facets, posterior facets for articulation with the previous, with the preceding bones. That is the typical vertebrae, the axis. As it articulates the atlas, the surface provides a good hinge joint for turning, for turning of the head. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the normal or the typical. It's the next vertebrae after the axis. So this is one of the 5. There are 7 cervical vertebrae, and this is one of the 5 after the axis, the atlas and the axis. So it's one of a kind in that it has branched transverse processes. It's the easiest way to identify it. So as you can see, they are branched, they are almost star-like. This way, yeah. So it has a broad centrum, and you can see it, this is a centrum. These are the zygomorphises which have the articular facets. So this is the anterior view. We have the posterior view where we have this the these are the facets too. This is the post zygapophysis, these two of them. You have the neural spine. You can see it's short. Then these are the vertebraterial canals. They are a bit wide. The neural canal, it allows passage of the spinal cord. And this arc here is the neural arc. Its function is to protect the spinal cord. I think the transverse processes, their function is to provide surface area for the attachment of muscles. So I have two typical vertebrae, and this is an example of how they articulate. You can see the anterior side. These are the facets, the anterior facets. They articulate with the posterior facets, and this is how they articulate, as you can see, very perfectly. And I forgot to tell you my name. I'm Mark from 4Y Kagumu High School. Thank you.
So good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I want to take you through the thoracic vertebra, which I have right here. One of these is what we call a vertebra. Then with two of these I call them the vertebrae. So the thoracic vertebrae are located in the thoracic region behind the ribcage and the ribs. So looking at one in particular, you'll see that it has a very long neural spine and short transverse processes. Right in the middle you can see the neural canal, which creates the passage for the spinal cord. Looking at it anteriorly, you can see the anterior facets, which articulate with the posterior facets of the preceding vertebra. On the centrum there are the capitulum facets, which articulate with the capitulum of the ribs. And also on the transverse processes, there are the tubercular facets, which articulate with the tuberculum of the ribs. Looking at it closely, you can actually see the two facets which articulate with the ribs. There is the capitulum right here on the centrum, and the tuberculum facets. Thank you.
Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, sir.
So my name is Kariate. I'll be presenting the lumbar vertebra. We have the centrum, the transverse section. We have the neural spine. We have the pre-zygapophysis. We have the post-zygapophysis, and then on top of the pre-zygapophysis, we have the metapophysis, and at the top here, we have the anapophysis. In human beings, we have a total of 5 lumbar vertebrae. Yes, and this is the anterior view, the posterior view, the dorsal view, and the anterior view, and they articulate as this one. So this is how they look like, and this lumbar vertebrae can be easily identified using the centrum, where it looks like a love shape. There we have the lumbar vertebra. Yes.
Hi, my name is Carlton. With me is a sacral vertebrae. Human, there are 5 in number, but in animals like rabbit, there are 4. We have the neurospine. It's highly reduced as it goes on, and we have the transverse processes, and the sacral are fused to form the sacrum. The sacrum is also after the lumbar. It's located between the pelvic girdle. Is here.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Mike. I'm going to teach you about the caudal vertebrae. The caudal vertebrae are found in this region down here.
They are fused to form the coccyx. In humans, there are 4 caudal vertebrae. The caudal vertebrae vary in each animal depending on the size of the tail. Thank you.
So, my name is Alex Owero. Welcome to the video. I'm here to summarize on the human skeleton. We started with the skull, and then we went to this is the cervical vertebrae, just found in the neck region. After the cervical vertebrae, what do we have? Yeah, after the cervical, we have the thoracic vertebrae, followed by the lumbar vertebrae. Then, after the lumbar vertebrae, you have the sacral vertebrae. Then, after the sacral vertebrae, you have the caudal vertebrae. For the cervical, we have the first one is the atlas, followed by the axis, and then followed by the normal or typical, which are 5 in number in humans. And the 5, when you add the cervical vertebrae, are 7 in number. Thank you.
So my name is Charles from 4i, and I'm going to present the shoulder region. So you have the acromion around here, metacarpals in the coracoid process. So when the scapula is around here, you have the glenoid cavity, which articulates with the head of the humerus to form a ball and socket joint. So yeah, around in the front part, we have the clavicle. The scapula is this part here that forms outwards with the spine, and this part here, which is around here with the ribs, the scapula, and it has cartilage to prevent friction with the ribs during the breathing process. Thank you.
So good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, sir.
So I go by the name Timothy, a 4Y member, and I'm going to represent the humerus. The humerus is a bone found on the upper part of the hand, right here. And going to its parts, we have the head of the humerus. The head of the humerus articulates with the scapula and the glenoid cavity. Near the head of the humerus, we have rough projections known as the greater tuberosity and lesser tuberosity. We both extend to form the shaft of the humerus, where it provides service for attachment of the mass. Between the two tuberosities is a groove called the bicital groove. The bicital groove is where the tendon of the muscles passes. At the lower end of the humerus, we have the trachea, articulate with the sigmoid notch of the ulna and radius to form a hip joint that checks on the overstretching of the arm. Thank you.
So hi, my name is Victor. I'm going to be presenting the ulna and the radius. So the ulna and the radius, they are 2 bones that are found on the lower arm. This one. So the ulna is longer and it is found on the side of the smaller finger. The radius is much shorter and it is found on the side of the thumb. So this is the radius, this shorter one is the ulna. So over here you can see that we have a notch called the sigmoid notch. So the sigmoid notch, it articulates with the trochlea of the humerus to form a hinge joint. Yes, like so. And then the ulna has a projection called the olecranon process that provides surface for muscle attachment. Then on the distal end, we have the epiphysis that articulate with the carpals. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Lewis Nari, Kagumo High School. Today we are going to look at the bones found in the arm. So in the arm, there is carpals, which are made of small bones.
While away from the ribs, we have metacarpals, which are much longer than the carpals, and at the fingers, we have the phalanges. These bones are joined by cartilage, which enable movement. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Richard. So my name is Richard. So I'm here to present the pelvic girdle. It is formed by two half bones which articulate at the pubis symphysis, and we have at the upper part you have the ilium, which is above the acetabulum, where the femur articulates to form a ball and socket joint. And between the pubis and the ischium, we have the obturator foramen, where this is an aperture where blood vessels and muscles and also the nerves pass, and also where these two halves articulate, you have the pubis symphysis. The pubis symphysis, which is a flexible cartilage which permits widening of the girdle during birth. Yes, and the ilium and the ischium and the pubis are fused to form an innominate bone. Yes, thank you.
So my name is Alex Maina. I'm from 4I, and I'm here to present you the femur. It is a bone, it's a long bone formed between the pelvic girdle and the knee. So the first part is its head, which articulates with the acetabulum of the pelvic girdle to form a ball and socket joint. Here we have the lesser trochanter and the greater trochanter, which provide surface for attachment of muscles. This is the shaft, yeah, and then on the lower parts, these parts here are the condyles, which articulate with the kneecap and the tibia to form a hinge joint, which only moves 180 degrees. The kneecap prevents overstretching of the joint, of the knee joint. Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Alvin.
My name is Collins,
and today you can call me Tibia, as I have my tibia here. As you can see, I have tibia, which lacks a fibula, but not mine. So this one is from Ngombe, my dead cow. With the proximal end, it articulates with the condyles of the femur, and then at the distal, it articulates with the tarsals of the toe. And then here, at this part, it's called the shaft of the tibia, where it provides attachment for muscles. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nabil. Today I'll be concluding with the foot, of which you know as per now. At the end of the tibula, we have the medial malleolus, and at the end of the fibula, we have the lateral malleolus, which articulates with the ankle bone. The ankle bone articulates with the heel bone. Also, it articulates with the tarsals, which continues in articulation with the tarsals, and then finally conclude with the phalanges, which now you have your foot.
So what is this? That's the skull.
Ribs.
The ribs that make up the what? The rib cage.
Sternum.
The sternum. Kuna nini over here? That is the vertebral column. Na hiyo imekuwa summarized, ndio? So those four parts tumesema they make up the axial skeleton. All right. Then the other skeleton is the appendicular skeleton. Na tumesema it's made up of the girdles, sindio? And the limbs. We have the forelimbs and we have the what? The hindlimbs. Aya tuanzie kwa shoulder, kwa pectoral girdle. Clavicle, sindio? This one? Scapula. This part? Humerus. This part over here? It's like this. This is the small finger. Alright? So what is this? Ulna, and this one is the
radius.
Then over here we have carpals, metacarpals, phalanges. Alright. Let's come to the pelvic girdle. Pelvic girdle, tulisema it is made up of two halves that are fused together. Sindio? So over here, what do we have here? Pubis. Alright, this is one half of the pelvic girdle. What do we have on the top? Ilium. Sindio? We have the ilium. What do we have here? Pubis. No, you see the pubis? What we have here on this other side? Ischium. Sindio? Alright. Upper hivi. What is this? This is the femur. Then over here we have one is bigger than the other. So this one is tibia, this one is fibula, correct. And then huku chini kwa feet, kwa nini watu, what do you have here? Tarsals.
Metatarsos.
Na kwa toes tuko na phalanges. So that is the summary of what we've just done in this class. So that is well done. Can we clap for ourselves before? So till next time.
Bye bye.